Hi everyone, and welcome to Men and Their Emotions. My name's Christina Hetherington. I'm a therapist and coach, and today I'd like to talk to you about alleviating depression. Depression's a meaty topic, so we're just going to dip our toe in this first session, but I will be revisiting it in future videos. I intend to keep this video short, around the 10-minute mark, and all my future videos too. I know we're all busy people, but I figure we can find 10 minutes in our busy days to watch something that might be helpful. So let me know in the comments if that works for you. And clearly, these videos have got to be fairly general, because I'll be dealing with a wide audience. You'll all have different wants and needs. So I just want you to think of me as like a wise friend who's trying to prop you up if you need it. The initials of Men and Their Emotions spell mate, and I like that. So, the statistics for depression at the moment are enough to give you depression. Rates have risen by 25% since the pandemic, and now 1 in 6 people are taking antidepressants. I'm not against antidepressants per se, but I don't think we should think of them as a long-term solution. There are many therapy-based actions we can take to alleviate depression. And like all mental health issues, I think we should go looking for the root cause of the problem. Medication can help, but it's not something that we want to be taking forever. So you may have suffered with depression for a long time, or you may be a more recent sufferer. Maybe you have full-blown depression, like a black cloud is following you around everywhere, or the black dog, as some men call it. Maybe you just suffer from occasional bouts of depression, so you go into a dip, but you can manage to pull yourself out again. Or maybe you suffer with low mood, malaise, feeling flat, empty, numb. All of these can steal your joy, that's for sure. And this low-level depression can be summed up in 4 words: I can't be bothered. And I think a lot of people can't be bothered since the pandemic. Depression can affect you at different times of your life. So if you've suffered a bereavement or a relationship breakup, you'll often go into a dip. This is very natural. We have to grieve. Maybe you've got a big birthday coming up. A new decade can be a real sticking point for a lot of men. Or maybe you've got some prolonged sadness or stress in your life. All of these will cause depression. But there are some natural things that we can do. Just some straightforward, obvious things that I'm going to talk about. 5 things. So the first one is eating healthily. It makes sense really that the healthier that you eat, the healthier you're going to feel. The more junk food you eat, the more junkier you're going to feel. Every bit of food that you consume goes into your cells. So if you live on pizza and chips, that's what's going into your body. It makes sense really. So the second one is cutting back on your drinking. Alcohol and depression often go hand in hand. The more depressed some men are, the more they drink. But current guidelines say we shouldn't be drinking any more than 14 units a week, and not all at once. And 14 units is only 6 pints of regular strength beer, so it's not actually that much. Alcohol is a depressant, it's not helping. So cut down on it as much as you possibly can. The third one is getting good quality sleep. So if you're somebody who stays up at night watching TV, watching some rubbish, or you surf the internet and you go to bed really late, try and cut that back. So try and avoid any blue light, that's laptops, tablets and phones, for at least 2 hours before you go to sleep. And that way you should sleep better when you do get into bed. Good quality sleep will make a huge difference to your depression. The fourth one is a biggie. The fourth one is exercise. And exercise has been classed as the best antidepressant in the world. So if there's a sport or an activity that you enjoy, go for it. Doesn't matter whether it's running, cycling, swimming, squash, anything at all, it will help. Exercise releases endorphins. Endorphins are all natural and they make you feel really good. That physical activity will actually push the depression out of your body. So exercise as much as you can without being compulsive. The fifth one is a nice simple one. It's getting outdoors. Getting out into the daylight and the fresh air. Remember when you were a kid, everything seemed better when you were outside. Wet playtimes were an absolute nightmare. So try and get out as much as you possibly can. In nature, if possible, because that's even better. So 5 simple things that you can start doing today. I think men and women suffer from depression for different reasons. And one of the main reasons with men is that they're encouraged from a very young age to just hide their emotions, to bottle them up inside, to just man up, suck it up and get on with things. In my opinion, this is one of the worst things you can do, because then everything is bottled up inside you. None of it is getting dealt with. It's as if you're carrying around a really big, heavy suitcase all of your life, with everything in it that you've never processed. This suitcase is so heavy and you've got to drag it everywhere with you. It's going to make everything in life seem 10 times harder. It makes sense, really. From childhood, boys have been drilled not to show their emotions, to hide their sensitivity. Many of you are shamed for having emotions, and that's why you run away from them as much as possible. You sweep them under the carpet and distract yourself in any way you can. Mainly by working, but also by drinking, taking drugs, illegal and prescription drugs, playing golf or other hobbies compulsively, shopping, eating, or even masturbating. Anything you can just to push those emotions down. But that way nothing gets processed. It's still all in your suitcase and you're having to carry it around with you every day. An emotional issue has to be processed emotionally. Not just practically or financially. It has to be processed emotionally. So if something happens to you, something bad, when you're in your childhood, and you don't have the wisdom or the knowledge or the perspective to sort it out, you can get emotionally stunted. So physically, you grow into a man, but emotionally, you stay a little boy. So you might have a 45-year-old body, but emotionally, you're still 5 or 7 or 9. This is never going to feel good and can often lead to depression. Most men focus on their physical health or their financial health. Success to them means money. They want to provide for their families and earn a good living, and that's fine. But we can't neglect our mental and emotional health and expect to feel good. It's just not going to happen. For most men, it's just work, work, work. They can't get off the treadmill. They're stuck. So just to clarify, your mental health is your thoughts and your memories. Your emotional health is your feelings and beliefs. And the way we process an emotional problem is by taking the lid off the box, unpicking, unpacking, and going over what's happened. Not ideal, maybe a little bit uncomfortable, but it has to be done. So what I want to do on this channel is to do some mental hygiene. I want to encourage you to have an emotional detox. We're going to clean up some of these things that have been dragging you back for such a long time. You can't ignore something for years and years and years and expect it to still be shipshape. It's just not going to happen. So, I want you to have a think back to your childhood. Is what I'm saying making sense to you? Can you relate to it? Were you encouraged as a boy to just suck it up? To hide your emotions? To push everything down? What was the conditioning that you were given? Have a think about this. And the other thing I'd like you to think about is whether you distract yourself from your emotions. And if you do, how do you do it? You can either work through this on your own, or you can work through it with somebody else. If you find it painful to think back to any of these things, then please work through it with somebody else, either your partner or a trusted friend, or if there isn't anybody in your life, then find a professional. I'll put some details in the description box below. I'll also put my details down there in case you'd like to work with me personally. Don't keep bottling it up, whatever you do. It's time to make some changes. So that's it for this week. We've made a start on depression. If you've enjoyed this video, then please click the like button and share. That way the channel can grow and I can help more people. You can also click subscribe and press the bell, and that will notify you when I upload a new video. So that's it for this week. Have a great week.